I'm excited because we are crossing into a different career field. I know most of you, you know us, most of the time we look at psychology. So today we're looking at social worker. It's a field that is very related to psychology, and I've got a very passionate social worker here to me. I want her to just give some insight about the field and what is it about. So, Tumi, please welcome and thank you for being here. If you can briefly just introduce yourself, who's Tumi for those who don't know you, and just a quick background about yourself. Over to you and welcome.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Devo. My name is Tumelong Katekomnisi. I'm from Bushbuck Reach, Mpumalanga, and I grew up in a very unprivileged community, and that also became a drive for me to be a social worker. So that's basically where I'm from, and I studied social worker from University of Pretoria, and that has been one of something that I'm passionate about.
Awesome, awesome. I know Bushback Ridge, I hear it's very far. I've never been there, but you drive for a long time, especially from Pretoria.
Yeah, yeah, it's a long drive. Yeah, it's a long drive.
Wow, 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 wow. But I want to find out now. So you were at matric and you wanted to be this medical social work. At what point or at what stage of your high school, if that's when you knew about social worker route, did you realize that social worker is for you?
Yeah,
Who
okay.
told you? Who told you at Bushback Reach about social work?
Yeah, I don't remember the actual time, but usually during my grade 10, when I was supposed to take a major with my streams, that's when I had a conversation with my sister, and
Mm,
she understood what I want to do. So she was able to describe, to say, oh, what she want to do, it relates to social worker, and what she loves to do also relate to be an educator as well. So those were kind of like my line of interest as I grow, because I used to also teach myself behind the door. I'll be writing the door at the bedroom, the chalks.
mm,
I'll take chalks from school, because from school I was writing chalkboards and stuff. So
mm.
my sister, she's the one who explained it further for me. And we had a lady at our church also who was doing social, but she was working for social development. So for me, it was a matter of there's a broader way, there's a broader roles for social worker. So I also had to redefine which part of social worker I want to be.
Okay, okay. No, it's fine. I think I'm going to come back to that so that one can actually know all the roles of a social
Mm.
worker. So, which means when you finish repeating matric, did you then went directly into studying social work at UP?
Yes, yes. I went directly to studying social worker at University of Pretoria.
And for somebody who doesn't know, what were the requirements? Were there particular subjects that you needed to have to study social work?
Okay, so they look at APS. I'm not. I don't know what the updated one, but it was 30, and they look at level 5 of English, and you need to have. I think your maths also need to be level 4, and other subjects level 4. So it's level 3, 4, but mostly 5 and 4, and your APS must be 30.
Okay,
Yes, but
okay.
any institution has their own requirements, so they can just check their prospects and check how which requirements are needed for any institution.
And it's a 4-year course, eh?
Yes,
Okay. And did you have to do psychology during your social work undergraduate?
yes, I majored with psychology. I did psychology until third year.
Wow.
Yes, so on fourth year, that's when I bridged to only focusing on doing my practicals.
Okay, okay. Is the reason why you didn't want to be part of us in psychology?
The process, no, I could say the roles that you guys play and the role that I wanted to play, they're kind of not the same. Social worker for me, I found it in a way that today I can change and say I don't want to work in a substance abuse. I want to work in a elderly in a different way. So for me, it was social work gave me a broader way of doing things. So yeah, and also the process.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, no, it's fine.
Mm.
Which is good. I mean, one needs to know what they want and why they want to follow that particular field.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the social worker part. When a person studies social work, what do they study? What kind of modules do they do? Do you go to families during your studies, help them? Do you go to orphan homes? What does the studying of social worker involve?
Okay. So when you study social worker, there is, okay, let me just take you through my journey so that it can be more practical, because
Yes, yes, please.
yes, the programs change each and every year based on the needs of the program. So but during my year, I started my undergrad at 2018. So during my year, the first important thing that got us exposure to, so that we were studying social worker, we had to overshadow a social worker and identify the different fields, and also identify, do we really want to do this, those type of things. So there's theory, there's practicals, there's a values that you already at your first year, you're already taught on. This is the real world, this is how things are done in social work. And also in your second year, you already provide services to students across the institution. So you'll be providing counseling, you'll be doing community outreach, and you'll be doing projects that are very challenging to show that you will be able to be independent when you get out there.
Okay, so you guys do a lot of community work by the time you complete.
Yes, good. From the first year, first year, they can be lenient and start with individual work, which is case work, some they call it case work, and group work. And then by second year, you're already doing every interventions, every
Okay,
yes.
okay. And so it takes 4 years to study for social work. Just break it down. Now you completed and you are practicing now as a social work. So how long does it take for somebody to register as a social work? What is the process?
Okay, so immediately on your second year, you go for you to get to second year, you go for selection, and then immediately you're gonna register with the council as a student. And then when you register as a council as a student, during your final year, when you're done, it's recorded that you have made it. That graduation letter is the one that's going to help you during February or January to register with the counselor and your academic transfer. So immediately after you are done with your studies, you are able to register as a qualified social worker.
So you are saying when you finish first year and you go to second year, there's a selection process.
Yes.
And so why the selection? You're already in social work class, Mos.
So there is high capacity of students enrolled. So if you could check, we as psychology students and social work in the first year, we are doing almost the same modules. Okay.
Yes, yes, I know you guys attend with that is why people think they take a lot. Well, they don't know there are social workers in our class who make
Yeah.
the class look too big.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I
Yes.
know it.
So when you're enrolled there, also in selection, you need to apply for your selection. So selection helps them to train us to. So basically, social work is not an easy career as much as people think. So it is, second year, it's one of the hardest because you, for your selection, you need to go for interview for your, and remember, you're just still a fresher.
Mm.
For your selection, you need to go for an interview. You need to write a test. Yes, you need to write a text, and you also need to make sure that your modules, you pass your modules, and also your practice module. So they are selecting so that they can have um enough number that they can train, because they have selected supervisors. Let's say they employed 5 lecturers that would be our supervisor. So each must have, for example, 60 learners they qualify. Sometimes it takes 60 or 50 something. So you find that enrollment was too much, and also it becomes hard, so that if you're not really sure that you want social, so that you can enroll to BA general psychology or other thing, because they try by all means to show their reality and the struggle of, giving up there is there. So yes, they train that way. First they did that.
So when you are not selected at second year, what do you then do if you're not selected?
So you automatically register for BA General, and then the following year you can reapply if you still want to go to BSW program. And then the only difference that's going to happen is that you're going to carry a module. There is a modules that you are not able to register if you are not in a BSW program. For example, you'll be registering a practice module from second year while you're doing third year, but while you're doing third year of studies. So you are actually 1 year behind with just one module, which is practice module.
And do you know if this is a practice across other institutes where they do interview at your second year? Or do you think it's maybe a UP thing?
I think also UJ. I'm not sure. I'm not certain about it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. I think it's very important. I didn't know about this, so I'm just curious about it.
Yeah.
Because
I think.
maybe.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
continue.
I'll research about it, and then I'll comment on the channel. Yes.
Okay, I'll really appreciate, because we've got a lot of people in psychology who claim psychology is not good because they were not selected. But now what I'm getting from you, some of them are rejected from social work.
Yes,
And they
and
come back to
intelligent students.
psychology to trouble us.
And I must say, a lot of intelligent students, they get. Remember when you are in the interview with lecturers, people, social workers that are in who are professors and everything. So they don't really look at your academic only. They look at how you present yourself. Can you speak? And there's a lot of practical questions. And remember that time you're still at your second year. So yes, also it's very painful seeing some of your classmates not making it, and now they have to and
Follow psychology.
yes, or follow criminology or sociology.
Oh.
Yes, or anthropology. Yes.
Hi, you are giving me closure. Most people will trouble me. Most people will trouble us in sociology, criminology, psychology. Maybe they wanted to do social work, they got rejected. Now they want to trouble us. But I could feel that some people are very angry.
Nah, the competition is too high.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I think that's very informative, and it's an eye open even to me. I'm learning a lot. So tell me then. So you go through the selection. They select about 60 students, and obviously these are the students you go through the whole 4-year period of study.
Yeah.
So what happened then after 4 years? Do you do internship? How do you get to register now as a social worker?
Okay, so because for me already, for me to not get problems whenever I start practicing immediately, when you're applying for internships or you're applying for a job, you need to be registered with the council. So immediately when you get your graduation letter and your transcript, you need to go to the office. Oh, you can also do it online. Send it to them, and then send them your student number and ID. Then they can register you, so that at least when you're applying for internship or any social work job, you are able to practice. So I will say that most people get internship, but internship, they are very scarce. So some they go for auxiliary social worker, some they do volunteering. So it really varies with people. Yes.
Okay, but I need to get clarity now. So when I finish 4 years, I can go and practice as a social worker. I don't necessarily need to do internship.
Yes. Remember during your second year already you were cooked, already at your 4th year. So during our 4th year, we're doing our honors, we're doing our research, and we're doing practice module. And then we also, yes, we do practice module research, and then we do practical. So we go to work, like we go 3 days per week, and then 2 days we are going to campus for our research and our practice. So basically, when you go to do your practicals 4th year, you'll be placed in different organizations, institutions. The university partners with different institutions. So by 3rd year, you must have already applied and chose 3 choices of yours to say, oh, you want to go to hospice, you want to go to child welfare, you want to go to disability unit where they deal with that. Then they take your first preference according to how we applied. So during your 4th year, that time, you work like a qualified social worker, but you have a supervisor, you have 2 supervisors, you have a supervisor in the field, which is, let's say, for example, I was working in hospice in an organization in Mamelodi. So I had my supervisor there, and I also had my practice supervisor. So already the reality is kicking in, you know. Already I'm at work, I'm expected to perform as a colleague, you know. So that's when you gain your experience. Even how you report everything, that's when you become more equipped to be an independent person at the long run.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but we are not being paid at that point.
You're not being paid, you're just doing your practicals. That's the most hardest part, because some you need to, for me, I was traveling to Mamelodi almost 3 days per week, and it was not really financially stability on my side. So you are not paid, you are still a student, you're just doing your practicals, you're doing your honors, which is research.
Okay. And are they bursaries within social work that you knew about that are available for people?
So yes, there are. It just yes, they varies. So some years there are, some years they are not there. So for example, social development sometimes have it. I saw another one that is it allows social sciences to apply. I think I'll just share the names also on the comment just to be sure.
Okay. So tell me now, and I want to revisit this thing. So when you finish 4th year, how many options do you have? What you can either go and practice. I want you to just give me different options or route that people can take. What
Okay.
happens when you complete? Where do people go? What are the different options that somebody can take? Because you mentioned something about auxiliary social worker, internship, going to work. I want to know what are the formal route that people can take.
Okay. So one could be internship.
Okay.
Number two could be furthering your studies, doing your
Okay.
math. Uh, and the third thing is to just apply for a job that maybe says 1 year experience, or they say they want a newly graduate, but they don't call it an internship. Yes, so you can apply for that. And I could say that regardless of how much you just finish your career, if you apply for those jobs, it depends on the skills that you have and what you can offer to the organization, because already you are well trained and you're well equipped to be independent. So it doesn't really need, you don't really need to go to internship if there's no opportunity. You can keep on apply. You can also volunteer. It's very important to volunteer, and that will also help you. And also studying some projects, you know. One thing that helped me to not finish my internship and being able to get a like work as like a full-time job is because I was participating in a lot of projects, volunteering, doing programs. So do what it aligns to what you like. It will help you so that immediately after your studies, you're able to, in an interview, you can able to sell yourself with experience that you have gained.
So tell me, what is the social workers, the board, the one that you have, the professional council? What do they call it?
It's okay. It's South African Councillors for Social Services Association.
So at what point does one have to register with it?
When you are qualified social worker, or
Like
if
even when you complete 4th year.
yes, yes.
So to register with it, you don't need internship. You can just register by just your 4th year results.
Yes, that letter says congratulations, your graduation date is this date, and then your transcript as well. Your original transcript.
So in essence, what you are telling me is that from social work perspective, your internship, so to say, or your supervisory work is part of what you do from 2nd year onwards until 4th year.
Yes, yes.
Because you work under supervision all this time.
Yes, yes.
So internships and all these things are not compulsory.
It's to gain experience, and also if it's, for example, it's generic. Remember, we're doing generic. For example, I'm trained for substance abuse, for violence, for mental health. But as I'm doing my practicals, I want to focus on mental health. So now I'm applying for a job that it needs substance abuse. I don't have any experience on that. I don't know. So for some, it helps with internship. Also, any organization, they have their own policies and how they conduct services.
Okay. But it's not, what I mean is that it's not necessarily for somebody to register as a social work for the internship. Like with us it's part of the process. Without internship, you can't register as a psychologist. But with you guys, it's not the same.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very interesting. I'm learning a lot. I thought I knew social work. I think today I'm being schooled now. I'm doing social work 101.
Yeah, because most of us immediately before we can graduate, we are stressed to apply to what's this, to register, so that we can get employment, we can get internship. So
Okay.
we can't get internship or employment without registering.
And the organization, the whatever, the Council for Social Workers, do we have to pay the annual fee with them?
Yes.
And then do they also monitor CPD that you need to make sure that you meet on an annual basis?
Yes, they do monitor it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And so tell me now, when somebody do social work, what work can they do? Because you mentioned that you wanted to do a medical social work. What categories are there, or various fields that one can follow?
Okay. So I think this is a
And
funny.
and, and maybe add to that, where do they work?
Okay.
Because social worker, I see them everywhere.
Yes, I wanted to say that joke to say they are everywhere. We are everywhere. I can even create an employment in a relative company as long as there are funds. So they are actually everywhere. So, but you get them in South Africa mostly. You get them in correctional services, which also in correctional service they do different things. There's a lot of variety of fields that they're playing their roles there. You get them at schools, like myself. You get them at higher institution um, schools as well. You get them at disability unit, substance abuse, domestic violence. You also get EAP, which is employment assistant practitioner.
Program.
Yes,
Okay.
program. So you also get them where. So they're almost in most private companies. They also offer services. They're also in high institution. They're student advisors, which is something that most psychologists are there. So also social workers, we happen to be there, but mostly they are looking for master's degree. So yes, you get them almost anywhere where a psychosocial support can be provided. And I may say that anywhere a job is there for us.
Wow, wow, wow. And at the moment, where are you currently working as a social worker?
I'm working at a school, at a primary school this year. And yeah.
So what do you do at the primary school? I'm just trying to figure out what issues are there. I thought primary school kids are the most peaceful people.
Ooh, I wish. I thought so as well. Last year I was in a high school and I was like, oh, I'm going to a primary school. But I must say it's not easier. At primary school, it's, for me, I would say it's more, there's more work. because at primary school we look at the child on their own dealing with issues that they don't even understand caused by the background. We look at parenting styles. We look at family dysfunctional. We look at we also have special needs children that need to be accommodated, or they need to be included. We need to cater for them. There's also poverty. There's also child neglect, children abuse. So yeah, also child mental health as well. So there is a lot of issues compared, for me I'll say there's a lot of issues compared to high school, because a high school learner, it's already at the level where he knows this is mommy and daddy, they're living this way, I've accepted it, I just want to leave at home, finish my studies. Then we have a child who's now can't understand why mommy is shouting, and that thing affects her at school and is not even able to concentrate. And then we have children that are left alone. So it's kind of very broad there, and the intervention needs more organization involved. So yeah.
So for somebody might be listening, might think, okay, some of that thing looks like could be done by a psychologist. So can you maybe just give some example or clarity? How do you distinguish your work from that of a psychologist?
Okay, so okay.
Or maybe let me ask it differently. How
Okay.
do you work with a psychologist? If you were to be with a psychologist in the same space, what will be your role and where do they take over from you?
Okay. So for example, if we were at a school, for example, at a school, I'll be working with educational psychologists, right? So for children who are struggling with uh, their academics,
Yeah.
yes. So children that are struggling with their academics, as educational psychologists will be able to assess them based on more background and social and psychological issues. Then for me, it's basically my assessment and her assessment won't be the same, because clinically, psychologically, I won't assess the child the way the psychologist will assess it. So the psychologist focus morely psychologically. Then
Mm.
myself there will be working together where I'll focus on the social part of it mostly. So maybe I'll be doing more
The family
investigation.
context.
Yes, family. Yes, I'll be getting to investigate, speak to parents, and then also, as much as psychologists, also they speak to parents to, for planning of the child based on psychological methods and educational methods as an educational psychologist. So for me as a social worker, there I'll be providing more of a social support compared to psychological support. Yes, I think you can correct me because that's your expertise in psychologists.
No, I'm fine with that. I think I was just interested at because I heard there was a point where you mentioned something like you work with learners who need accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering what is the role of a social worker in that regard. So if I need accommodation, I assume you are speaking about special needs accommodation,
Yes,
not
yes.
accommodation to sleep.
Yes.
So what will then be your role in that case?
So if I identify that, that's where I refer it to the psychologist, because that's her expertise. So for me, it's basically making sure the child is getting the services that it's needed, and making sure that whatever that the psychologists have found, if there's a social issue that I need to help with, that's where I come in. But basically on the accommodation, it's the psychologist's expertise.
Okay. So you will basically having a role where, because I've always understood social workers as being people who unite family, like who you want to investigate what's happening, if everything fine within your family, make sure that people receive whatever that is needed within a family context.
Yeah.
So
I think
that will be your role with the kids in terms of what is the family background, who is there, is there a parent, are all the rights of the child being given to the child?
yes, basically advocating for the child and making sure there's no child neglect. And also, as an educational psychologist report will also be combined to understand why is this child performing this way. You might find there's a social issue.
Barriers.
Yes, yes. So you only find some of them. Everything at home is fine. There's just only learning barriers. That's where a psychologist knows what to do. But I don't know what to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, awesome. And I wanted to just ask, you mentioned something about, you didn't touch on it, that you wanted to be a medical social worker. What is
Hmm.
a medical social worker?
Sorry, you said, can you just repeat your question?
You mentioned that you wanted to be a medical social worker. What is that?
Yeah. Okay.
What does a medical social worker do?
Okay. So basically, medical social workers, they work at hospital in a medical sector. Okay, let me just be more specific. So
Okay.
basically, they also advocate for patients, and they form, for me, basically what interested me, it was helping patients to understand why they are taking. Let's give an example with someone who's taking any medication, so that we don't get in more naming any other drug. So helping a patient to understand why they're taking this medication, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of not taking, and also just empowering them and showing them that taking the medication, how to help them. Also in a hospital, so medical social workers, they help with aftercare plan. So let's say we discharge a person right now. Yes, nurses will, the medical team will do aftercare plan, but also as a social worker, you will have to uh, look at the social part of it. Who will be taking care of this person, how can we help this person, and this and that, so that the person doesn't relapse to any illness that they were going through.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
No, awesome. Thank you for that. And how will you advise a learner or a student who want to branch into social work? What can you share about that, about the field of social work? Somebody wants to follow it.
Hmm.
What would be your advice?
Okay. So my advice will say, follow your heart. um I'll say the most thing that I want to say is that you already know that you have care for people. You need a professional training. You need a ticket for you to go out there to practice. That's my statement. So I think most people, they know that they have a caring spirit. They want to help, but they need help with professional way of doing it. They need to know values and principle to protect them. So to a learner out there who want to pursue their career, um, look at your personality. Very important to look at it, so that you don't happen to what is this, to struggle when you get a day. Because yes, it's a passion, yes, it's professional, yes, there's a lot that is happening, but look at your personality as well. It's very important to revisit that and align to yourself. Why do I want to help people? Why do I want to be there to teach people the positive way, empowering people, and being a change agent? So as a social worker, it's not only about helping people, it also goes to politics. There are social workers who are drafting our policy. There are social workers who are in politics, making sure that the change agent is happening. So it's a very broader way. So just revisit your personality, revisit why you want to do this, and also be patient with yourself. And yes, also enjoy the cause. Make it help you, make it heal you first, before you can able to provide service to others.
Awesome, awesome. And is the money good in social work?
I knew this gonna come.
No, I'm just asking because I mean, yeah, people want to know. I There's this thing among on social media. They say they do courses because they want to deal with poverty. You don't want to have a title, but you are still in the same status of life.
Question. I would say, if for me, I'll say that they say there's a courses that are for fighting poverty. There are kids, the courses that are so, like, I won't really recommend it for but only given.
Also, this one is for people who just have love.
No, let me say, I want,
You must just love it. Don't.
Actually, for me, I could say if you become smart and use your gathering years very correctly, you can make more money than you think, you know. And also believing in yourself and your profession as a social worker, it will assist you to be able to make that money. So, for example, if you can look at, there's a lack of awareness in the country about the services that social workers provide, and the moment people are aware of them, and the moment they're aware of them, the moment we can able to make money. So what I can say, if you want to study social worker, believe in yourself, go out, don't want to do what other social workers did. Take the skills that you're taught and use it differently, and you see how perfectly and you can become a social agent. So the money, for me, I could say the scale range of the scale, it's not looking good. I think we're not respected, we're undervalued in our country. Actually, if you could check private companies, they really try so much, so they are really a go to a place. So just like me, I never wanted to work in an organization because I knew that. Also, my issue with organization is that the roles are a lot, and with the same salary, So I really was very honest with myself, what I want, why I'm doing this, and which route I want to follow. So be passionate about it and go make money for yourself. There's a lot of money out there as long you use your ideas and reach right people.
And can a social worker open a own practice?
Yes.
What will they be doing? Like, how will that practice run? Maybe just if you can give me an idea, if you have something in your mind that you can
Okay.
share.
So a social worker in a private practice will be offering counseling, will be offering grieving counseling, will offering parenting styles, family mediation,
Oh,
will be coaching, will be also
okay.
there's
Yeah.
yes,
No, no, you're
there's a
giving me ideas. And can they claim from medical aid?
yes, they can.
Is it? Okay, no, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I think yeah, you are giving a lot of information. But before we close, I mean, you look like you've been too busy. I saw your CV and you have been News 24, 100 Young Mandelas 2023. What do you do beside being a social worker? How did you get this accolades? What have you been busy with?
Okay. Oh, so as I said, that it's very important to not focus on your studies only. You need to align with yourself with activities that are related to your studies. For
Mm.
example, during my second year, I was already volunteer with a psyche society, which was for psychologist interns. So I was already working under them, volunteering there, and I was doing something that is just helping learners with homework, those type of things. I also joined mentorship programs. I think I have 4 projects that I joined from different organizations. So they also mentor in a different way. So those are the programs that I joined. And also I'm very passionate about taking care of mental health, based looking at our background as Africans, how mental health is perceived. So with the knowledge that I have and the experience that I go through with others, um, it helped me to be open to speak about mental health and educate. So Nelson Mandela Young Mandela 2023, it was the category of mental health. So what helped me to motivate that, I joined a program called DK Lukula, where I was a mental health departmental head of mental health, where we host online session each and every Wednesdays, and that it really gave me an exposure of higher institution learners and high school learners, especially matriculants, those years 2022 and 2023. So I was able to support them in different ways, and mentally educating them, and um, giving knowledge about mental health as a whole. And also I was also nominated for Community Builder of the Year from Sunrise
Wow.
Foundation. And that one also, it's from Pumalanga. So for me, it was just a call to say, now you have gathered information, now you have those weapons. It's time for you to give back to the community where you're from. So it's still a project on hold, but also it's something that I'm passionate about to be a change agent from where I'm from.
Wow, wow, wow. No, you have been too busy. You have been very busy. So you are not just a social worker. You have got a lot of activities that you do, which is what we are actually mentioning about, that somebody needs to make make it work for themselves and they can be able
Yes.
to make a living. So you
Mm.
don't just only focus on one thing, focus on different things that you can do that can be able to make it more impactful in a way.
Yes, yes. So
No,
social workers are not for child welfare, are not for removing kids. They are for your mental health, they are for your self care, for your marriage, for your relationship, for your confidence, for helping you at school. So it's not for child welfare. And I also, not that I don't want that route, because in a school already I do child welfare. But I told myself I want to see the other angle because I was exposed to all the fields when I was studying. So I really wanted to see the difference. Yes.
okay, okay. Yeah, no, we know social worker when there are problem in the home, they come with their file there, they sit there, you know, and almost all of them they were female. Are they males in social work? I thought this thing is like a female field, female profession.
There are males in social work practice, and I believe most of them they're very doing well. And yes, and we need them more because we have men mental health. And I think as a woman, as much as we are professionals, it needs a man who's passionate to push it more than us.
Yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And I hope males who are watching, please don't cry there and say I'm not selected anywhere. Go to social work and try. There's a lot of opportunities there that you can take advantage of. Before we
Yes.
close, any last words to people out there, to learners, or anything that you want to share about before we close?
Okay, I have something for parents. Yes. Parents who are watching this, please, there's nothing wrong with just consulting with professionals. Don't wait for a problem to present itself. And receiving psychosocial support or counseling doesn't have to wait for you to encounter problems, especially when you're a parent. As we are growing, we still have our childhood traumas, and there's a theory of parenting styles versus a personality of the child. You cannot parent children the same way. So that is very important, and reaching out to professionals that will also help you as a parent to know how to parent your children differently and meet their needs. And then to learners out there, please be patient with yourself. Do not be hard. Self-care is very important. Self-love is very important. And also to reach out. Don't wait for a problem to be more. Just keep on reaching out and build your social support is very important. It'll save you at almost most of the time when you're dealing with mental health issues or any issues that you are facing. So be resilient as well, but resilience doesn't mean that you should bottle up things, talk about them, and yes, reach out to all the professionals that you feel comfortable with.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Tumelo Munisi. I really appreciate you and what you have shared, and I hope those who watch and are interested in social work, they will take this information and learn more about the field of social work and pursue the career. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Awesome, awesome.